See a lot with Brad and Todd and all of that stuff, but we don't get to see him that much at tournaments, but he's having a heck of a tournament right now. He's 10-1.
That's where you want to be this late in the tournament. These green-white humans seem to be doing him well. Like you said, the white card's so powerful. Out of green, we're picking up the Tireless Tracker, Dramoka's Commands. Nope, I don't see Dramoka's Commands. I'm sorry.
No commands. That's a bit of a surprise. What you're going to see, unfortunately, for Dwayne Graham is a one-land hand with just a Dragon Hunter, so he's going to have to find some lands, and he does not have any. It looks like he may have mulliganed a time or two this game. We'll get confirmation on that, as Eric with an Eiley Eternal Pilgrim, which is going to come into the red zone, a Hedron Crawler, and it looks like a pretty good start for him. Yeah, it looks like Dwayne went to 5, so it makes a little bit more sense on why he's not really doing very much as he attacks here for 2.
Yeah, it looks like if Eric has a couple of his powerful spells, he's just going to have free reign to do what he wants. He's not under a ton of pressure. The opponent missing a few land drops. It's a pretty good spot.
A Foundry of the Council is there for Hymel, and now he will play another Hedron Crawler. And the follow-up is an Eldrazi Displacer, and they'll just pass the turn back. Dwayne Graham last turn did play a Council's Lieutenant. Now he'll draw a card. This is a Thraben Inspector, which will bring a clue along with it. And we'll see if anything comes next. Nope, just a passing. Over to Eric Hymel will go.
So for Dwayne to have a shot in this game, I think he needs some of his high-impact cards to hit the board here. The cards that I'm talking about are Archangel of Tithes. Potentially, if Eric is not careful about the way that he taps his mana, the Archangel could make it very hard for him to block. And always watching to pump up these little creatures so that they actually have a significant board presence.
There's an Eldrazi Displacer. I believe Hymel does have a copy of Declaration Stone in hand. No reason to use it just yet as we head back over to Dwayne Graham. And he has decided, I cannot win.
Yeah, he's had enough.
Which I think might actually just be an accurate representation of how that game's going. It feels like a bit of a hasty concession, but if he believes that he is beat at this stage and doesn't want to give away any more information on what's in his deck, then I think packing it in makes some sense.
Yes, and it's possible that he feels like his green-white humans deck is more outside of the radar of players, that he doesn't want to show those cards, but the white-black Eldrazi deck is a little more well-known, and he probably knows most of the cards that he's going up against. So he doesn't need to spend time digging for additional information, and he doesn't want to give away information himself.
So it's a hasty concession, which means Eric Hymel is up a game here over Dwayne Graham. White-black Eldrazi very quickly up a game over white-green humans, which means we turn our attention to the sideboard, and we will start with Dwayne Graham, who's got 3 Eerie Interlude, 2 Archangel Avacyn, 2 Clipwings, 2 Dramoka's Commands, so they're hiding out in the sideboard, along with 2 Evolutionary Leap, 2 Walled Mystics, a Hallowed Moonlight, and a Westville Abbey.
This is an interesting sideboard. I expect the Archangel Avacyns to come in for this matchup, but he's only playing 22 main deck lands, which means he's probably going to bring in this Westville Abbey too to help him cast this more expensive card. A lot of these other cards don't line up great against what his opponent is doing, so I don't know if a lot of those cards are going to come in.
Other side here for Eric, he's got 3 Tragic Arrogance, 3 Duress, 2 Read the Bones, 2 Virulent Plague, 2 Reality Smasher, another copy of Eiley Eternal Pilgrim, a Gideon Ally Zendikar, and an Anguished Unmaking.
I expect Eric to get much more control-ish. His sideboard is very well situated for this matchup. The 3 Tragic Arrogance are great when your opponent has to deploy a lot of threats to have a chance to beat you. The Eiley just lowers his curve and it trades with anything. The Anguished Unmaking is a catch-all. It's a good answer to always watching if that card's a problem. So I expect all of those cards to come in.
A lot of good options here for Eric, though he will be on the draw for game number 2, so we'll see if Dwayne can keep 7 cards for this particular game. So as these players do shuffle up and get ready for game number 2, there is a state championship tournament taking place 2 weeks from now. Of course, we've got Invitational next weekend. State's the following weekend after that, and if you don't know about what's going on there, we'll let you find out right now.
On April 23rd and 24th, don't miss the StarCityGames.com State and Provincial Championships. With Standard on Saturday and Modern on Sunday throughout the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico, there are plenty of chances to become a champion. Every player that registers receives an exclusive art print, top 8 competitors receive an exclusive playmat and pin, and each champion receives a championship playmat, medal, and an invitation to any of the next 3 StarCityGames.com invitationals. Each event will also include an oversized token door prize customized with their location. Visit go.starcitygames.com/states to learn how to become a champion today.
April 23rd and the 24th is when the state championships will take place. So become a champion, find your location, have some fun playing Magic, especially in this awesome brand new standard format.
Yeah, collect some medals.
Yeah, just like you. I want to be a state champion again. Here comes the Thraben Inspector.
Well, you have a soft field in Roanoke.
It'll be really easy to beat Brad and Todd and Jerry and everybody else. On Knight of the White Orchid, not passing of the turn for Eric. He has a copy of Eiley, Eternal Pilgrim. Has to take 1 to cast it, give him the Battlefield Forge.
And it looks like each of these players are getting to do what they want to do this game.
Yeah, this looks a little bit more like what a deck should be doing. Now, there's an always watching from Dwayne. This game is a lot different than the previous one. Knight of the White Orchid going to attack here for 3 first strike damage. No blocks here from Eric.
Yep, the first strike meaning that the death-touching Eiley can't tussle with it this turn.
For Eric, it's his 3rd turn of the game. He'll start by playing that new white-black dual land. Make sure I get the name of that correct here. It is the Forsaken Sanctuary. Use a Declaration in Stone to take care of the Knight. Give Dwayne another clue. Dwayne has another Canopy Vista, and now he has an Archangel of Tides. He'll simply pass the turn back.
That's a good one.
Yes, it is.
The Archangel of Ties comboing up with the Always Watching to get both sides of its benefit.
Yes. It's a combo.
Yeah.
They call that a combo. Yeah, this draw, much better one for Dwayne this game.
Yeah, Wizards tried to sneak that one by us, but
nope.
Nope.
Again, Craig is on top of it as usual.
Dwayne saw it.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Yep.
So for Eric, he's in a little bit of trouble. We'll see if he does have an answer to the very powerful 3/5 flyer, which is currently a 4/6, thanks to the Always Watching. To Dwayne Graham we go. As Eric just played a Shambling Vent and passed the turn.
And you can see this game, the power of these white human decks just coming out ahead of the opponents and putting tons of pressure on them.
Yeah. Looks like Dwayne's going to sacrifice a clue to draw a card.
Certainly things are not out of control yet. For Eric's side of the board, he's not in desperation mode, but 1 or 2 more threats on the board, and Dwayne's looking like he can close out the game super fast.
An attack for 4 in the air with the Archangel. Now here's a Thraben Lieutenant. Going to put a counter here onto the Thraben Inspector. The follow-up.
Get your purple dice out of here.
Yeah, we need a big die. Gotta let our viewers be able to see that at home.
And that was a rough one for Eric there. No removal spell. I thought maybe he was sitting on Anguish Unmaking or something like that. Without a play, it's not looking good for him. He can't tap out this turn to deploy a creature because when the Angel comes in, he's not going to be able to block.
Yep, and this is the big issue. Now he's going to just play a Gideon and make an Emblem and pass the turn back. But he's not going to be able to block because of Archangel Tide's text. So a healthy amount of damage is going to be able to come in here.
Yeah, if Dwayne has 1 or 2 humans coming down, putting counters on the Lieutenant, it'll just win the game for him.
Yeah, Eric could just die right now. Going to start by sacrificing a clue. He'll draw a card. See what the follow-up is here, because it feels like there is one. A Declaration in Stone, so there absolutely is one. Eric will be given a clue. And here's an attack.
And with Eric so far behind, the clue is pretty trivial at this point. You know, he's not going to have time to sacrifice that clue and take advantage of that extra card. The game's just over. So that's kind of the power of Declaration in Stone in a lot of these matchups.
Now, Declaration in Stone has been incredibly impressive to me. That was an attack there from 9 from Dwayne. Hymel's going to fall down to 2. He'll draw a card for the turn. This is a Sorin. It's going to pick off Archangel. So Eric will gain 6 life.
Okay, that's a start.
Yep. Athia's Lieutenant may have been.
Yeah, that was a good draw because I believe he has a Tireless Tracker in his hand as well.
Yes, he does. So put a counter on the Lieutenant. And then the Lieutenant is going to put a bunch of counters on everything else. And actually, excuse me, a Knight of the White Orchid, so put a counter there. He does get to search.
Another land coming to play for the Tireless Tracker.
Yep. So there's a clue. Pretty good turn.
Well, and these white weenie decks are not the white weenie decks of old,
Yep.
where you just run out of cards or your guys are too little. Like, all of these synergies mean your guys are big. You've got clues in play to draw cards, and it has staying power.
So now he gets to play a land. Now he gets to play the Lieutenant, and now it's going to be game over. So that's 3 spells in 1 turn. Not too bad there from Dwayne Graham, as he does win game number 2 against Eric Hymel. White-green humans. White-black Eldrazi getting ready for game number 3. Both these decks, well, I want to say they're both pretty quick. The White-black Eldrazi deck's a little bit slower, but Eric won game 1 so quickly that we're already getting ready to go to game number 3, which means we might actually be able to do something we haven't done much of this weekend. Bring you a second match in a round.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't want to guarantee anything.
Let's not speak too soon.
You see the sideboards here yet again. Do you think anything changes given that Eric's on the play here?
Well, Eric, I don't know if he brought in the Anguish Unmaking the first time around, but I think with his slow start and with how good some of the cards were against him, he's probably revisiting that card.
I think it might be all right on the play. I'm not sure. I mean, 3 life's a lot to pay in this kind of matchup.
It is a lot to pay, but the always watching was a problem for him, and it can just remove the most dangerous creature off of the board as well.
That's true. That's true. See, both players going to go back to the drawing board just a little bit here before game number 3 does begin. So while they do that, we will talk about the StarCityGames.com YouTube page, where you can become one of over 90,000 subscribers. We're looking to hit that 100K mark.
Yeah.
I'm going to be pretty happy when that does happen. But there's a lot of awesome content on there. That's why we have so many subscribers. Of course, you've got your Versus Series archives, where you get to watch Todd, Brad, oh boy, Jerry, Michael Majors, Ross, Merriam, Tom Ross, the whole gang. Get to watch some of the replays of those. Premium archives of our premium Magic Online videos, SCG Tour archives, like the stuff you're watching right now, unboxings, and much more awesome specialty content going to be on the way. Can't tell you about it just yet, but I think you'll be excited.
Just a little teaser there.
Just a little tease.
In case you guys missed it, that was a teaser.
Yes. Both these players are going to start with some dual lands. A Shambling Vent and a Caves of Koilos here for Eric, along with an Eiley. For Dwayne Graham, it's a Fortified Village with no reveal.
Yeah,
Now
that's
another Fortified Village.
This is an unfortunately slow start for him. He really needs to come out of the gates. His deck has a lot of 1-drops in it, and lands that come into play tapped hinder that a lot.
Another Shambling Vent there for Eric. You saw Dwayne play a Kithian. Now Dwayne does have a Knight of the White Orchid, so this will count as a land here in this situation. See what land he does want to search up. Green mana not going to be an issue, so basic plane it is.
Yeah, the Knight has been quite good every time we've seen it.
Yeah. Nothing to be unhappy with about that card. And there's a Plains. So now Dwayne has actually stolen the initiative this game. Now we'll see if he's got a spell he wants to play. It appears as though he does. It's a Declaration in Stone, so Eric will be given a clue. And now here's a beatdown for 2.
Sure, let's get aggressive.
Hymel will sacrifice that clue since he did have 2 spare mana lying around that turn. Gets to draw a card. Now he gets to draw a card for his turn. It's a Knight of the White Orchid for him.
This is funny, the dueling Knights.
Yes.
Just leapfrogging past each other in mana.
So Eric will go searching. Get himself a basic Plains.
And I think that was pretty important for Eric there. His deck wants lots of lands in play. The Knight is a very good blocker for him on this board. So that was a good play for him.
Yeah. And now here's another copy of Eiley. He'll take 1 to cast it. And he'll have to just simply pass the turn back after that. Keep in mind he did play a Forsaken Sanctuary that turn. So 5 mana working his way into 6, and 6 mana is a sweet spot for his deck because he does have a card like Sorin. For Dwayne, he just drew a copy of Archangel Ties. I'm curious to see what he wants to play this turn because it looks like his hand is all spells, so he's got a lot of options.
Yeah, it looks like there's a Lieutenant in there, so he might be inclined to deploy some more humans here and then pump them. The Archangel of Ties makes it easier to start getting aggressive, especially if Eric starts tapping out every turn. Lots of options.
Yeah, it's all about sequencing now. Because the options are plentiful.
In this situation, I wouldn't deploy the Angel right away.
Okay.
I think the little creatures are enough of a threat that Eric would have to answer one or two of them, and then that potentially leaves him without an answer to the Angel when it comes down later in the game.
Do you even attempt to play around Tragic Arrogance?
I don't think that Dwayne's deck can play around a card like Tragic Arrogance.
Okay. Here's a Council's Lieutenant, and then a Thalia's Lieutenant. So counters going around.
The idea of him trying to combat his opponent with just one or two creatures, when his creatures only cost 2 mana, against an opponent that's going to start deploying threats for 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, is generally a losing battle.
Some Knight of the White Orchid being able to safely attack there is a 3/3 first striker is quite good on this board. For Eric, he does have a Blighted Fen, along with a Battlefield Forge in hand. The question, of course, is does he have Tragic Arrogance or not? He's going to take a look at Kithian, and we can do the exact same, of course. He might be interested in seeing the backside as well, which is Gideon Battleforged. Again, because we have not seen a lot of that card just yet. Kithian, that's the easy part. The Gideon is the different part. Now, that's the part that Eric wants to make sure that he does know. But both sides of this card, very, very good.
Yeah, it's kind of deceptive how good this card is once it flips, because the plus ability that forces your opponent to attack means that they have one less blocker for your aggressive deck, which is very synergistic.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because you might kill the creature if it has to attack. You might not.
You might not.
But either side's okay because that's just one less blocker for your hyper-aggressive deck.
Exactly. And the plus ability that gives your creature indestructible can be very good if they've got a mass removal effect. You know, if they tap out your diversified threats, you've got an indestructible creature, you've got a planeswalker. It's hard for them to significantly chip into your board.
Declaration in Stone will take care of Council's Lieutenant. Dwayne Graham will get a clue. But you can see Eric's hand right now, not a lot going on over there. He's going to try to represent some strength, but I think it's 3 lands right now.
He has the creature land as a lifelinker to help him out a little bit.
Yeah, Shambling Vent is available.
He has the Blighted Fen for not this turn, but for the future, which can help him out a little bit. But he's going to need to draw some action to have a chance in this game.
I don't want to say it relies on him drawing Tragic Arrogance, but I do think it is incredibly important now.
Sure, yeah, I mean, we see Dwayne have all this action, and there's the Always Watching.
Dragon Hunter into Always Watching into really good attacks is what Dwayne Graham's play is going to be. And we'll see how Eric wants to block. So I do think there are some decent blocks available.
Sure, yeah, I expect the Death Toucher to tussle with Kithian here and trade, and then he can double block the Lieutenant to lose one of his creatures and get the Lieutenant off the board.
Yep. Good attack here with Kithian or no?
It's probably good. Dwayne looks like he's got just still a lot of action in his hand, and he just wants to clear the way. Especially if he feels like Eric does not have a lot of action. Get one of his few things that he has off of the board and just swing with everything every turn.
Looks like it's going to be a double block there on Kithian.
Okay, so he did basically what I said reversed.
Reversed, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to get 2 things off the battlefield, it looks like. And he'll be left with a little something. Gain a little bit of life for his troubles as well. Shambling Vent is going to bite the dust. And there goes Eiley. And then those creatures are going to die. And this also makes Blighted Fen better.
Yes.
You know, it's pretty much reserved for killing a Dragon Hunter, but, you know, you don't really want that thing there.
Yeah, it's not that much better. The Dragon Hunter can't attack through the Knight of the White Orchid right now.
Yeah.
So it's not the most exciting card to get off of the board.
I just want to reduce his resources as much as possible.
Yeah, certainly there's a problem if he just gets 2 or 3 more creatures on the board.
Battlefield Forge past the turn back is what Hymel's play is. For Dwayne Graham, he'll untap and draw.
And it does look like he's going to go the Blighted Fen path here.
Yeah, I just don't. Shambling Vent's not going to play a role in things right now.
Yeah.
So I think this is really the best his turn can be. It's always nice to get value from your lands.
Well, and he'd drawn a Hedron Crawler, but that's not helping him out in this situation either.
Graham's going to start by sacrificing a clue. The one thing, if you're Dwayne, you're probably going to tread a little bit carefully. Well, this makes things a little bit easier.
Sure. But he was pretty quick to do that.
Maybe a little too quick.
Maybe, yeah, because he does have a creature that could already attack through that. And giving the opponent a clue when the opponent doesn't seem to have any action is also a problem.
Eric's going to take 4, going to fall down to 7. He'll untap and draw. All right, Declaration of Stone of his own. Interesting. Going to start by Shambling Venting. Maybe. All right, they're a Declaration of Stone.
Yeah. he doesn't want to suicide his land into that creature.
Yeah. So what's tough here a little bit is, you know, do you want to attack for the Shambling Vent and get the 2 life, or do you want to leave the mana up for the clue? And also, you know, using Declaration of Stone in that 4/4 first striker, sure, but you know, there's an Archangel Ties maybe over there.
Yeah, but the 4/4 is a significant threat all by itself. It's not like you're getting rid of a 2/1 Dragon Hunter or something.
Sure. No, Knight of the White Orchid is back. It's going to search for a Canopy Vista.
And cracking in the clue is something that can always happen in the future. It's not like he's lost that opportunity, but he will have lost the opportunity to attack with the 2/3 and gain 2 life.
Another copy of Always Watching and a passing the turn. If you're Eric, you're probably okay with that, but you need to draw some action right now.
Yes.
Going to start by playing the Forsaken Sanctuary. Now the follow-up
One
is actually a pretty good one in Gideon.
multiple copies of Always Watching mean cards like Tragic Arrogance are not that good anymore.
Okay.
He would have to sacrifice. Always Watching gets. Tragic Arrogance gets enchantments.
We can take a look.
Yeah, let's take a
That's
look.
easy to do.
It's been a while since we've seen this card played.
Yeah, and it hasn't been cast yet. Dwayne's going to start by sacrificing a clue on his turn.
Yeah. Artifact, creature, enchantment, and planeswalker.
Okay. So multiple copies of Always Watching, not great.
Not great, but the creatures that are in play are such significant threats.
Eric going to sacrifice a clue here.
You know, from this point, if Dwayne wants to be a little careful and play around a card like that, it's easier for him to do.
And this allowed him to get Gideon off the battlefield with that attack. That is an Eldrazi Displacer. This is a Hedron Crawler. And Eldrazi Displacer is the kind of card that might be able to get him back into this game, because this can buy enough time to actually draw in the relevant stuff.
Yes, and it's going to force Dwayne to deploy a lot more threats onto the board.
There's an attack, and Eric is going to displace that. And now here's Archangel of Tithes. Now, I think Dwayne could have searched for a land there.
Yes, I believe the displaced Knight will trigger its comes into playability.
Yeah.
And Eric clearly has more lands in play than Dwayne does.
Yep. If I'm Eric, I want to be displacing, I want to block my Hedron Crawler and displace that.
Sure.
Instead of the potential of getting my opponent a land. But if Dwayne's going to consistently miss it, then no harm, no foul.
Yes.
It is a little risky, though. Here come the attacks. Here comes the displacement. Yeah, he just does not see that interaction. There's another Archangel Ties. Now would be a really good time to draw Tragic Arrogance.
Yes. Now, because Dwayne had to deploy so many threats to be in this game, Tragic Arrogance gets really good.
Yeah. I would really want to draw that card. Eric wants to make sure he knows how this works. So Displacer would actually make this thing tapped, so the text would mostly be shut off there.
Yes.
But he's not going to displace anything right now. Now, keep in mind, Hymel can activate Eldrazi Displacer 3 times right now, which is quite a few times. But he needs to draw Tragic Arrogance, and if he does, it might be a game winner. He's tapping manas. He's tapping 4, maybe 5.
Maybe not.
Touchdown, Eric Hymel.
Well.
That is a Tragic Arrogance. At the perfect time. So,
I'm not sure this card is resolving properly. It looks like Eric chose all of the things.
For each player, you choose.
Oh, you choose.
Oh, yeah.
This card's even better than I thought it was.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah.
He does get to choose.
He does. And Eric has an artifact on the battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
And Hedron Crawler, and then a creature in good old Eldrazi Displacer. So as far as good draw steps go, that was one of them.
Yeah. Well, average.
And now the Dragon Hunter will be displaced. Now there's another Archangel of Ties, so he's not out of the woods just yet.
Not there yet, but that was a long way to doing what he needed to do.
Yeah. So Eric Hymel does fight on. Let's see what the draw is here. That is a Thought-Knot Seer. The hand is just a Plains.
But that's okay. The Thought-Knot Seer is a large body that can start pressuring Dwayne.
Yes. Because now he's got to get this game closed out.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there are a sequence of draws here for Dwayne that are actually quite good. And if you're Eric, you want to get this thing over with as soon as you possibly can.
Yep.
Dwayne Graham with just a Plains in hand, not sure what the draw was for the turn. You see him at the ready with the Eldrazi Displacer. Yeah, it's a 3-man Inspector. Perfectly reasonable card right now.
Yeah, the late game Inspector, just as good as the early game Inspector.
See if Dwayne wants to sacrifice the clue now or wait. That is the question. Archangel would like to attack. Eric says, I will displace that. Thank you very much.
And the 3-man Inspector is another card you do not want to start displacing.
Yeah. All right, that'll be sacrificed. On the stack. Ooh, this is adorable. So he's going to displace his Thought-Knot Seer, which means that Dwayne gets to draw a card. 2 planes. And now he gets to draw from his clue. Let's see what this is now. Awkward. This is... Boy, this is awkward.
Yes. So Eric got pretty unlucky there, to say the least. I mean, he was very fortunate in this game to peel the Tragic Arrogance off the top of his deck, but he made a pretty good calculated play there when he was trying to strip the best card from his opponent's hand with the Thought-Knot Seer.
Yeah.
Turns out he just gave his opponent an extra draw step because his opponent had only lands.
Yep.
And then his whole defense was blown out.
So now he needs to draw another Eldrazi Displacer, like Pronto.
Yep. Or another removal spell to get the Angel off the board.
Hey, you know, a card like Sorin is still available.
Yes.
You know?
And the Angel's the only problem right now.
Yes. The Angel does come across for 4 points of damage, however, so Hymmel's going to fall down to 5. Eric will untap and take a draw here. That's a Thought-Knot Seer. Just a couple of planes. Himmel will pass the turn back. Graham will draw. Looks like Graham's going to do a little bit of math. An attack for 4 is going to bring Eric down to 1.
Very astute attacking there.
You approve of that attack. Here's Knight of the White Orchid.
And we see these little edges. Dwayne has been holding some lands in his hand, which keeps his land count on the board below his opponent's. So when he does draw a Knight of the White Orchid, he can thin out his deck a little bit.
Yep.
All of these things are just very, very small edges. They're very fractional advantages, but over the course of a tournament and a lifetime of playing Magic, they equate to more wins than the person who doesn't do these things.
All right, Eric. How do you draw this time? His deck has to have some spot removal somewhere, right?
You would think so.
I haven't seen him get spot removal in 3 games.
And he's in the unfortunate spot where he probably has to start sacrificing Thought-Knot Seers to Eiley, which just gives his opponent more draws.
It's not great.
Yeah.
It's not great.
They got nothing when they came down, and they give something away when they leave.
Yeah. I guess he's probably cast a Declaration of Stone or 2. What is... Ah, okay, that's a Magic card. All right, that's Archangel.
It does a little bit.
Well, it's indestructible right now.
Yes, it blocks for a turn.
Yeah, it gets the block.
And Eric has the option of sacrificing a creature to Eiley to flip it when he wants to.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
Presumably. I think he might cash that option in right now. Maybe. Not yet.
Well, I think with the amount of lands that he has, it behooves him to just wait the extra turn, get a little more information out of his draw step.
Sure, draw cards, see what happens.
Yeah, and then decide if this is the right path to take.
Eric's going to take a look at Archangel Ties one more time. We should as well, because it's kind of a complicated one. So as long as Archangel is untapped, creatures can't attack you or a Planeswalker you control unless they pay 1. And as long as Archangel is attacking, creatures can't block unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures.
And with Always Watching, it's always untapped.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, one thing that could happen is we take a look at Eldrazi Displacer here for just a moment. Now, I want to make sure that you can displace Archangel Avacyn. Because I'm pretty sure you can. And just keep making your stuff indestructible?
Yes.
That's pretty cute.
Yeah.
It might come up.
Not bad.
Yeah. All right, so Eric said, I'm going to sacrifice my Hedron Crawler. Going to transform Avacyn the Purifier. It transforms. I want to deal 3 damage to all your things. Now, with this effect on the stack, ooh, hey, another Archangel Avacyn. All right.
Which leaves the Eiley around.
Yes.
All of his stuff's going to gain indestructible.
Yep, which is pretty important. And then Avacyn's going to die because of the legendary rule.
No, they're 2 different names right now.
Okay, so it doesn't die.
If it were to flip back, it would die.
Okay.
But he has Eiley to sacrifice it.
Yeah.
If it were to flip back.
Yeah, okay. Pretty adorable.
So this has been just a crazy back and forth game that we've seen here.
Now that Dragon Hunter still alive? Yeah, that thing should be gone too. Yeah, that thing took 3. Okay. So now it's just Archangel.
Yep.
Versus Archangels.
Yeah, and the bigger Avacyn can tussle with that Archangel now.
That's true.
Yep.
All right, so Thraben Inspector comes off the top of the deck. Dwayne Graham's going to sacrifice Glue, draw a card. And now there's Kithian.
So Avacyn the Purifier.
It could start attacking.
Can start attacking.
I don't know if it should, but it can. I mean, the game gets an easy mode if he draws into Eldrazi Displacer again. He's got to find one.
Well, the last time he activated an Eldrazi Displacer, it turned out as bad as possible for him.
That's true. That's true. Well, it's not good news. But he is reaching for mana, so I feel like he's drawn something. And again, there are some very, very, very good draws for Eric Hymel in this spot. There are also some very good draws for Dwayne Graham in this spot. I would not feel good right now if I was Dwayne. Because here comes the 6/5.
Yep, bad sign.
Yep. See what the follow-up is. 2 mana. Knight. No search, I believe. Yep. Okay. So to Graham will go. He'll untap. You have to imagine just a land in hand for Dwayne. Or something that's not terribly relevant. He'll draw a card for the turn. Yeah, a couple of lands over there. He's been able to go long, and decks like this can go pretty long. I don't know if they can go this long.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and we're at the point where we can start seeing that Eiley do a lot of work. You know, if Eric feels like he just wants to race in the air, he'll attack every turn with his Avacyn, let his opponent attack back each turn with the opposing Archangel. He can sacrifice enough creatures, his board presence is robust enough to where he can race like that.
Yeah, now one of the interactions I think Eric might be setting up here is the following. Sacrifice Avacyn the Purifier. Gain 5. Or actually, we'll take a look at Eiley really quick. I want to make sure it's toughness, not power.
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
So gain 5, go up to 7, and then take that damage from Archangel, go down to 3, and then the other Avacyn, well, the other Avacyn will not transform because it's non-angel. if a non-angel creature dies.
Yep.
So the other Everson would not transform. So, okay, that's off the table. In the meantime, Thalia's Lieutenant is on the table. Wow, these new cards are so confusing. But Eric will untap and draw. And we'll see what he finds. He's reaching for mana already. Easy mode. Declaration in Stone.
Well, that's one of the cards he wanted to draw
yes,
there.
Yes, it is. Need to get that off the battlefield. He will do just that. And Eric Hymel is going to win this match over Dwayne Graham. 2-1. White-Black Eldrazi will take care of White-Green Humans. And that brings Eric Hymel over to 11-1 here in Baltimore.
An absolute nail-biter there. Yeah. It looked like Eric was out of the game. He drew his absolute bomb in Tragic Arrogance. We saw just how powerful it was against the opponent.
Yep.
Even earlier in the game, it looked like he had things under control to Displacer. They got out of control again. They got in control again. They almost got out of control again.
Yeah.